conversation because I need closure. From who? The motherfucker that hurt you? You think the person that is putting you through the hell, the trauma, the pain, the neglect, the abuse, the infidelity, you think that person is going to be the same person and now hand you closure? Every time you go over there to have that, this is the end talk, don't you end up being more hurt and confused than normal? That nigga ain't about to give you closure. If anything, he gonna make it seem like it's your fault. Guilt trip you for leaving, and he's gonna flip it on you. Listen, this man didn't care enough to keep his pants closed. Why the fuck you think he care enough about you to help you get closure after he's the one that opened the heartbreak that you are experiencing? How you expect the person that is the source of your pain to be the person to relieve it? Sometimes you don't need to have no conversations. Sometimes the best closure you can get is a cold shoulder and a block message on Facebook.
I'm glad you played that first. Yeah.
Why?
Because his perspective on closure was you shouldn't have a conversation with the person that hurt you or the person that was wrong in the relationship. But I mean, I'm not a fan of closure. I don't really feel like people need closure. I think closure is another way to get that last smash. I feel like I don't know, because I feel like it always ends with. I feel like it always ends with what you doing later. Yeah, what you doing later? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, closure's trash. I feel like closure is done in internally though. I feel like you have to internalize what really happened in that relationship, what that person really did to you, and what you could really do better. I feel like all the work is internal. All of it.
I don't think it's that easy to self-assess. So you might need feedback.
You're just gonna argue. If you can't self-assess and you can't come to that place where, like, okay, I'm gonna own this, I'm gonna own that, then there's no point in having that conversation.
Yeah, that's what I was
like,
going
nigga,
to
you
say.
left hell. Why are you going back? Like, what the fuck? Like, no one goes back to jail to be like, yeah, I didn't clean that cell out the way I wanted to. Like, nigga, you leave and you don't look back, nigga. You know what I mean? Like,
all right,
I left a pair of slippers in there. I left my Susie.
You have to be mature enough to have the conversation.
Why?
If you're mature enough to have the conversation, you can get something from it.
Okay.
Right? Because
I'm open to listening. To
you got to, like, in order to, like, when the guys work on a space station, astronauts and shit, they shooting rockets up or whatever, they got to figure out why they failed. So the next attempt can be better than the last.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the same thing with relationships. You got to figure out, all right, what did I do wrong? And you have to be mature enough to feel like, to say to yourself, like, I had a part in the demise of this situation.
But those people aren't asking the rocket why it failed. The rocket's blown up in pieces. I feel like that's what asking the person that the relationship failed with. Like,
I think if you're asking for closure, you're kind of accepting some accountability, because you're not going to say, like, oh, I need closure. What did you do wrong in a relationship to make me break up with you? Nobody's gonna answer that question.
But it only works in the rare situation that both of y'all are mature enough to really say what y'all did wrong. And
I don't think it takes both. It just takes one. At least somebody's gonna walk away with something. Like, you and your lady, you break up, and you say to her, like, yo, what did I do wrong? Yeah. She could talk hella shit about you, but you could take it and be like, as long as you don't, like, take it and like, yo, I want to go back at her because she said some foul shit about me, so I'm gonna say some foul shit about her. If you're not on it like that, and you say, all right, I understand what you're saying. You said I do this, I do that, or I could have done this better. All right, I'll eat that, I'll take that. And you could take it, you can assess it, and you can move on. But if you're not mature enough, and she says something negative about you, you might want to go back and say, well, yeah, I was this, but you was that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But because I'm not ready to own that part of it, or like it's the same. You weren't ready to own that part of it then. Maybe you might find something else or something, like, you know.
I think if you ask that question, you should be. If you're mature enough to ask the question, you should be mature enough to hear the answers.
I think a large part of closure as well too is getting your shit off. It's like, you ever get to an argument with somebody, or have like a micro transaction that's not really like pleasant with somebody, And when you walk away, like, damn, I should have told that bitch this, or damn, this nigga, man, I should have got it. You know
All
what I
the
mean?
time, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But now you get that chance to get that shit off. That you've been holding on to this script for like a year that you really wanted to, you know, you rehearsed this thing and, yo, you hurt me when you did this and this and that and that. And it's just like, yo, you just trying to, I don't know. I just feel like it's unnecessary and it's a bit childish. And I think it's a way to just get the skins again. I feel like.
I really feel like some people, they can't move on until they get some closure. They may even get into another situation and they're still thinking, like, what happened in the last shit? Why didn't it work out?
That's a good question. Is it appropriate to get closure if you're with somebody else? Is it appropriate? You've moved on. Six months. You're dating someone else another 3 months.
It's all about maturity, man.
Your ex-boyfriend is in town, and now he wants to have dinner with you, but you're with somebody now. Is it okay to go back and have that final conversation?
It's all about maturity on every level. Even that new dude has to be mature enough to be like, all right, well, I don't want you doubling back and trying to always have in your head, what if that worked out or whatever? Yeah, maybe you guys should have a conversation.
That's real mature.
Very mature.
You think he's just saying that because he feels like he has to be macho in that moment, or you think he really means that? I feel like people get pressured into saying that they're okay with bullshit that they're not really okay with because it's not fly to be like, a nigga don't really want you going to dinner or getting a coffee with your ex-work.
All right.
Like, no man really wants that, but we can't kind of say that because we'll look insecure if we say that. Wouldn't a man look insecure if he says that?
Nigga, like, but you a fucking car with a head gasket problem that never got fixed. And you passed, I bought you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I bought a car with a fucked up head gasket.
Yeah, but I'm not bringing it back.
It could have been fixed if the last owner told me, like, yo, the head gasket is fucked up. Right.
Yeah.
You gotta fix the head gasket.
Right.
And then you good.
But I'm not bringing it back. The previous owner fucked that head gasket up by driving it mad hard. I'm not leaving the car that I just bought from that previous owner with that owner for him to fuck it up. I'm gonna drop you off this car, right? Drive this shit for a week to the mechanic to fix it. While you're doing that, you're fucking it up more. Like, you don't fucked it up already. Give me the car that I brought. Let me fix this shit. Let me take it to my mechanic, get this shit diagnosed, and get this shit right.
You don't
if
know,
I can't
though.
Fix it, I'm gonna drunk this shit.
You don't know. Nobody knows.
You're done with this fucking car.
No. See, that's where you get it wrong. You don't know, though. You don't know.
I'm not giving my girl that I'm putting work in the green light to go deal with a fucking nigga who gave her all these fucking problems. Like, nigga, you need closure. You still in your head, you still want to be with this nigga. Go be with this nigga. I'm not doing it. I'm not accepting it. That's some shit back in the day. You know what I mean? I would have accepted it. You know what I mean? Like younger me, I would have felt.
You don't feel like you're getting a flawed person?
Everybody flawed, Ron. We're flawed. Everybody's flawed. Everybody who's ever been in a relationship ever in life is flawed.
The way you fix your flaws is
by moving on.
No, not necessarily by moving on.
Doubling back and getting that garbage on.
You got to figure out what they are. You have to do a self-assessment, and then you work on fixing it. You do the work to fix it.
It sound like why Cassie was in that fucking mess. Kept trying to get that closure. Like, nigga, you don't keep going back to somebody who keep doing you dirty. You leave them niggas alone. You leave the relationship's over. If you don't got no kids with that person, or you don't got no property or no business or whatever, that person's dead to you, yo.
You're speaking as if it always has to be a toxic situation.
Right.
What if it's not
closure? So why do you need closure from a non-toxic situation? If it was an amicable, great breakup, we just listen. We could maybe
in every breakup. There's something that went wrong.
You only need closure from the toxic shit.
No, not necessarily.
It's always the worst of the worst.
Not necessarily.
I'm
no,
telling you right now.
Bro. If you guys broke up, there was an issue, right? And it's like, all right, we weren't good together, or I didn't like when this happened. It's never gonna be all gravy train, and we just broke up because we were like,
This is why I'm a big proponent of ghosting people. I don't want to deal with this shit. I don't want the call back. Like, yo, I died. I fell off the Williamsburg Bridge, bitch. Like, I don't exist anymore. Like, you can't find me no more. Like, pre-social media, like, when you left, you were gone. You know how many times I threw the Batman fucking smoke bomb and I was peace. Never see you again. Get the fuck out of here. Like, yo, that saves you a lot of bullshit. Like, yo, calling back, yo, I get me that closure. I get me a year. Like, yo, hold on. I got
nobody wants to live with regrets.
He good.
Nobody wants to live with regrets.
He good. That's the make believe shit. Niggas double back to get the closure because they still see like, yo, shorty still wounded. Maybe I can still get that. You know what I mean? It's never like closure. Closure is so. You sound immature. You sound immature. You say that I'm being a buck. Come on.
You sound immature.
Come on.
So, yo, you don't want it. Like, yo, some people will move on, not get any closure, and still be. That's why people go back and fuck with their ex and shit, because they didn't get past all the bullshit that they were going through in the relationship, and it becomes toxicity becomes normal, right? So your ex can do some toxic shit to you, and it brings you right back to that, right? But then you might remember some good shit.
Slow down. So you're saying that people get back with their exes because they didn't have closure?
They don't have to necessarily get back to sleep with each other or have a moment.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Because
that moment
that closure compensation facilitate that person being around you again?
It's not about being around each other, right?
Like maybe a phone call? What was it?
All right, so think about it like this, right?
Yeah.
If not we, but if you're in a relationship and some argument, toxic, have sex, and you go back and you go back and you're back to normal, right? That's your cycle, right? You not being in a toxic state and having a mature conversation, that's something different. That's not going to bring you back to that time of when you guys are in a relationship. That shouldn't bring you back to sex, because that's not your cycle in your relationship. It's something different. It's something new, right? So you might feel like, all right, now I can leave this person alone. You understand what I'm saying? We're not in the now. If we saw each other and we argued again, and we like, yo, we got to have some makeup sex, and then it's that same cycle that we normally have. We trying to do something different.
No, Ron, we know how we gonna play it. We get that call, yo, let's get that conversation back. Yo, let's get that. Yo, I wanted to be close. Now she always wanted you to grow a beard. Now you grow your beard out. You know what I mean? You done been in the gym. You getting your shit right. You wearing that shirt and that cologne that she like. Niggas know they put it on. Like, everybody put it. All right, so people go to that closure relationship, like to that closure meeting or whatever, not on the A game. Everybody's like, come on. Like, what's the, come on, man.
They probably trying to look the best they look.
Closure is immature.